What's good, y'all? Welcome back to my studios. This is DHR Fighter Studios. So, Dominik Mysterio just put out a statement on Logan Paul's podcast about a lot of adult ager things on Netflix in 2025 and why I personally believe that the product is going to be better on Netflix because they're going to be uncensored. They're not going to be blacking out the screen like SmackDown has been doing on Fox, which Fox has been the one that has been doing it lately. So that's why SmackDown will always be a B show because of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So Dominik Mysterio says that people are going to expect a lot of big titties and stuff like that on the first episode of Raw in 2025. Like, the ones that really think like that are the ones that are just extremely horny. Like, go touch grass somewhere, bruh. This ain't porn or OnlyFans. Like, this is WWE. Dominik Mysterio comments on Netflix expectations. In January 2025, Monday Night Raw will debut on Netflix. This will be a huge move for the brand as it will leave the USA network for the first time since 2005. So this is pretty much what Dominik had to say, and I kind of agree with him on a lot of stuff. I think people are going to expect us to go in there and the first episode of Raw on Netflix. People are going to expect blood and tables everywhere. Titties, Edge and Lita, where they had their sex show, live sex show. I'm sure people are going to expect that. I feel in order for stuff like that to be special and meaningful, you can't have it all the time. Facts. It's going to come like an RKO out of nowhere. You don't expect it, and then it's boom tit. I don't know if it's necessarily going to edge up. I think it's going to take time to edge up. I think we're going to gradually stay the same and then slowly start testing our boundaries. So there's a reason why I agree with Dominik Mysterio on this, because for one thing, I think it's a good idea for them to actually just start slow and then you work your way up like they're doing like right now. Because in 2022, when Triple H took over after Vince McMahon stepped down, the product has become more edgier and more harder than ever, because what they're doing is it's like they're taking a bit further but starting slow, and until they're ready to go a bit edgier, they have to do something more risque, like, you know, like taking a risk. So if you do stuff like that, it is possible that at some point that Netflix is going to be the home for WWE for about 10 years. And so at some point, I think what Dominik was saying is that you can't always have big titties and having these 304s shaking their thought pockets on Raw, because you know there's going to be kids there regardless though, but they're edging it up. So it's like, if they keep doing stuff like that, I think the product is going to be great, because it's basically for adults. Like, they're changing things up. So it's not going to be no family oriented anymore, because SmackDown will be good on USA next month. So you ain't got to worry about them blacking out the screen all the time, because Fox has been destroying SmackDown because of that nonsense. So that's why it's going to be a lot harder for people to watch SmackDown, because of what Fox is doing. The censoring and the blacking out the screen all the time, because how are you going to call SmackDown a good show if you're doing that? Make it make sense. The relationship between WWE and the USA Network will remain strong, as the channel will become the home of SmackDown on September 13th. Elsewhere in the podcast, Logan Paul stated that he is not banned from Japan and that he would like to be invited back. Good luck with that. So, my thoughts on Dominik Mysterio, I think he's absolutely right on a lot of things, that you can't just be having sex celebrations and doing a lot of exploited stuff all the time. I mean, it has to be done in the right way. It has to be done on the right time in the right time, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be like that every week, but on certain occasions. But as far as like the uncensored stuff, yeah, you ain't gotta worry about them censoring, them swearing and cussing and bleeding all the time, because when you think about it, since Triple H been taking over WWE, a lot of wrestlers have been showing a lot of blood lately and swearing all the time. Like this past Monday Night on Raw, when Liv Morgan said that it wasn't deep enough. That's a sexual reference. And Sloppy Seconds, that's another sexual reference of giving blowjobs and stuff. So they're pretty much going there, and I like that. I like when they're taking risks and aging up the product more, because I think that's what's been missing since for the past 10 to 15 years since it went PG in 2008. Hell, their final episode of Monday Night Raw in 2008 was on Raw when it was TV 14. But when PG started, oh boy, it went downhill. Yes, there were some moments that I really liked about the PG era, but at times, the New Day and all the cringy stuff that really made me hate the product even more. 2018 and 19 and 17 was the worst era, including 2015. Don't even get me started on that. So, at the end of the day, Dominik Mysterio said what he said, and I agree 100%. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments.